What's up, everyone? What's up, Seth? We are back, and yes,
Hey.
no, we have no Matt. We will have no Matt for this episode and next week's episode. And yeah, it's gonna be a me host, and I've had a day, so everybody's gonna get to hear about it. But how are you, Seth?
I'm doing okay, man. I look, I'm sorry that you've had a rough day, but I'm happy to be here hanging out with you. Hopefully we can have a little bit of fun today. And hopefully we can kind of unwind, talk a little bit of PlayStation. I'm happy to try to fill in for some of the Matt energy today. So, hey
Just
buddy.
please don't talk about RPGs. Just as long
Yeah,
as, like,
I'll
honestly,
save you from that.
like it would make me like pull my eyes out. I can't. I just can't. Speaking of which, I got to meet up with Matt, Fulia, Nagachaka, John B, a bunch of people from the community. We got to all hang out together last week. It was kind of awesome.
I
Um,
love that.
and we learned about how big the spiders really are in Australia. And you know what? They're big. They're real big, and they're
Oh
scary.
man.
And it's a thing. It's real. It's not a myth. They are scary. Yeah, just stay away from the spiders. That's what we learned. Kill it
Did
with
Fulia
fire.
have like pictures or what?
No, she was showing like how big they are with their hands. So she was explaining it's
Oh
a
gosh.
huntsman spider. Annex 2, yes. Sorry. It's called a huntsman spider. And when it gets scared and it puts its back up, it gets huge. When
Oh, I
she
hate
showed us,
that.
it was like, no, man, it's the size of my head. It's a no. Like, I just
Hate
no,
that.
nope,
I'm good on that.
nope. But we got to all hang out. We got to watch the Boston Bruins beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we got to play some games together. We even got a game of Mario Kart in together. Nagachaka won. We played some pool. Myself and Fulia won. And then I played some one-on-one basketball in the shooters against
Yeah.
Matt, and I whooped him. Yep, I whooped
Spanked
him.
him,
And
huh?
then we played like a Connect 4 version of that, where you shoot the ball and it goes down, and I whooped him there too. So
Oh my
suck it, Matt.
gosh. You know what? One of the questions this week makes a lot more sense now. Now that I
Yes,
know
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that makes a lot more sense. Well, I'm glad you guys got to hang out. I'm glad that you got to prove who the better gamer was between the two PlayStation Drive hosts. I mean, look, we love Matt, but he's not here to defend himself, so you do have to kick him a little bit while he's down,
Well,
right?
hey, when it comes to physical active, sure. But when it comes to like actual video games, he can mop the floor with me any day of the week. Like, oh, let's be real here. I play every game on baby mode. It is what it is. I'm not good
Fair.
at video
Nothing
games.
wrong with
I
that.
like playing them, but I suck at them.
That's okay. That's
Mm.
okay. You don't have to be good at them. You just got to play them court. I want to welcome really quickly before we get too deep into this. We do have a couple of new patrons that I want to make sure we thank. We want to welcome in Mustafa and Summit, both at the exclusive tier, patreon.com/carpoolgaming. So we want to welcome them and thank them and bring them on into the fold. Welcome on into Patreon. They get a whole bunch of exclusive content. So thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate you. Love you very much. So, yeah.
So we got a big show today, believe it or not. It's lengthy, but I'm going to try and get through it as quickly as humanly possible. I'm not going to lie. So we're going to be talking about Sony's got a handheld. God of War Ragnarok has New Game Plus, and man, it's a lot of stuff. Like, I had to do the notes on this, and I've read it from the PlayStation blog. It's a lot of information, and we got way more information with regards to Burning Shores DLC for Horizon Forbidden West. Some of it sounds really great, and then we got our questions of the show. So we're gonna get right to it. Seth, as Matt would say, what have you been playing?
He would say something much more complicated than that.
Yeah,
And we
I'm
both
not
know
gonna
it.
do that.
But I can't replicate that either. Court, I honestly haven't been playing much of anything, dude. I'm gonna be just 100% honest with you. I've been so busy, like I have not been able to play much of anything. But I will say, you'll be happy to know, I started playing Season, A Letter to the Future.
Ooh, I love that game.
Which I know you love, and I'm only a few hours into it, but boy oh boy, is that game an emotional gut punch, like right away, like 1000% right away. Within the first like 5 minutes, I'm like ready to cry. the stuff with the mom at the very beginning. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, like what are you doing to me?
Dude, that's nothing. Like that is like nothing. Just if you're having issues now, it's just going to be a roller coaster for you. It's
Yeah, it's
there's a
rough.
lot. I'm sure there's a lot of hidden meanings to it. I don't think I'm smart enough to figure them all out, but you're gonna have fun just even riding around your bike in the world and taking pictures and
Yeah,
drawing things. And oh man, just
I
it's
love
like
that.
a meditation of a video game.
Right. It's like very chill. It's very just sort of like picking up these little elements of like the world before and stuff, going around with my audio recorder. Yeah, I'm having a good time with it, dude. I really like it, but
Yeah,
it
awesome thing about that game is that audio recorder. It actually will make things come alive and do other things. So don't
it's sick.
take audio of things you wouldn't think have like it has audio, but you're like, because you're supposed to take all the different senses. Take audio, and
Mhm.
some things will actually surprise you throughout the game.
Nice. I'm sitting there. I am spending all this time putting together my journal pages and whatnot, and it's just a delightful game, man. I really like it. It's really good. Highly recommend it. And then, like, yeah, whenever I have a couple minutes, I play a little Diablo 2 Resurrected on my Switch, and that's
Oh, nice.
literally it, Court. That's it. That's
Jesus.
all I've been
All
doing.
right. All right. I've actually been using my Switch, so don't worry about it. I was playing
Ooh,
the new Super Mario Brothers. Is it? Yeah, the one with like
yeah.
Luigi on it on the back. You get to
Hmm.
and because my daughter and I finished a bunch of different Mario games, and she was like, "Oh, I want another one." We went and saw the movie this weekend. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize how hard that game is. Like that one's that's a
Mm,
toughie. I'm having no issues, but it's like she doesn't want to play it anymore.
fair.
That is not an easy Mario game. It is, but I did remind her, I was like, "See, you see what this is? That's what I got to play with. That's the Mario I
Right.
grew up with. The one that like
Right.
gut punches you, not in an emotional way, in a mental, physicality way of just like, oh my God, I can't beat this level." But I'm actually really enjoying it. I find it to be refreshing from all the other games, open worlds, and all these things that we play. I'm having a great
Hmm.
time with it. And then I had to retire a game, but I played it for a whole 20 minutes today, and the pain came back, so it is officially done. I tried to
Oh,
play it again
it's
today, but
done.
MLB The Show, it is, I can't play the game. Physically, I am an old man, and every time I play it, and it's obviously it's the repetitiveness of swinging. It's the same
Mhm.
button, but I think it's the timing of how you swing that is causing the muscle pain, because I'm putting emphasis on doing it. Like I can press buttons playing a game. I'm playing other games and I'm having no issues with it. But when I play MLB The Show, it like flares up. I just played a 9 inning game to try and get myself in a Zen state before we did this, and my arm is killing me right now, and it was not hurting for at all. So I can't play the game anymore. It sucks, man, and I love the game. Like, I truly still like, I watched a bunch of baseball games this weekend, and all I wanted to do is after watching the game, I was like, "Oh, I just wanna go out and, like, do a home run derby or, do a road to the show or do a storyline or something."
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. I don't think I'm playing it
Heartbreaking.
anymore.
Man. So, it's just like the stick movement
Yeah, well,
that
so when you play the game, I even tried to remap the buttons. So swing is X. You use the stick for your PCI, it's called. So to move where you want the bat to be in the strike zone when you're swinging, or
right.
in the zone, I guess, to use. And then you swing with X. And then there's also power swing, bunt, and normal swing. So there's different types of
Got it.
swings, but it's a timing thing. And according to my physical therapist, is when you're playing it, you're already tensing the muscle to try and hit the timing. So it's
Right.
a repetitive. It's not like when we're playing any other game and we're just click, 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 because you're not anticipating anything. You're just clicking. You don't realize how much less stress it is on the muscle. But for some
Mhm.
reason, when I'm playing this, it's bad. Like I tried to remap it with the DualSense Edge here, and I put the swing actually on the back of the controller. I put power and normal swing on the back here. So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, I'm using different fingers. Yeah, nope. And then
Still
I
the
was
same
like,
because of the motion. Yeah.
yeah, and then I was thinking,
Repetitive.
okay, maybe it's the controller. I find the DualSense Edge, the way it sits in your palm, it actually comes down and like jets out at the bottom of your hand here. And when you're using an
Mhm.
Xbox controller, it sits in your hand a little bit better, so you can
Right.
control it. So I was like, okay. So I tried to switch up and play on Xbox, because you can play this game on Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation, and it does make a difference. It makes zero difference what console I play
Wow.
on it. It's everything to do with the timing, and you know what? It is what it is at this point. You
You
know,
made your peace.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just added to my aggravation today. I'm just like, all right, it's just
Sure. Yeah.
official. I can't play this game. I want to so badly. I even pulled a very nice card today in a pack, and I'm just like, oh, what's this is just like making fun of me while I play this game. But whatever, whatever. It is what it
Oh,
is. It is.
man.
I recommend it to any sports fan out there. Go play the game. It's a ton of fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy video games because you never know when you can't play them.
It's heartbreaking, dude. This is
It's destroying
soul-crushing
me.
information.
Yeah.
This is soul-crushing, Port. Is it like because I'm also wondering too, like, is it it's the repetition and the muscle movement, obviously, but is it also just like if you were to just go in little spurts and like kind of pace yourself, could it
I only
happen?
played for
Like
20 minutes today. And it was
still
like
did it.
instant, like instead of even up on the top of my arm where it usually hurts, now it's hurting at the bottom of my arm. And I'm just like, you know, I give up. And for the question in the chat, I pulled a Manny Machado today, which is like a decent card.
Mhm.
But it is what it is. I'll get over it. Like I said this before, there's some great games coming out. I think it's next week on the 18th. Minecraft Legends is coming out. I'm very excited
Right.
about that. I love my RTSs and Jesus, and we've got Horizon Forbidden Shores that we're
Jedi Survivor's
Burning Shores that we're going
coming.
to talk about. Very excited about that.
Yep.
And then I got Jedi at the end of the month. So you know what? I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then also, you know what? Less time playing video games, more time hanging out with my daughter is even better. Because this game, I will admit this. I think I just went too big too fast. I played 90, according to my PlayStation, 96 hours. It's too much.
It's
It's too
wild.
much. That is
Well, that's
way too
it's a
much
lot.
for a video game.
It's a lot, Court. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. It's a lot. Oh
Well,
man.
speaking of being able to play video games anywhere, Sony is making a new handheld. Seth, you and I we already talked about this on Carpool Weekly, and you guys can check it out
Right.
on our YouTube channel, but we haven't talked about it yet on the PlayStation Drive. So it was reported by Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming that Sony is working on a new portable console. But if you were thinking it was another Vita, it's not. It's codenamed the Q-Lite. The next PlayStation handheld is the next piece of Sony hardware that aims to be yet another piece of hardware that requires the PlayStation 5. Insider Gaming understands that the Q-Lite is not a cloud streaming service, but instead uses remote play with the PlayStation 5, a feature that the console giant has been pushing for these past couple weeks. Sporting adaptive streaming up to 1080p and 60 FPS, the new device will require a constant connectivity to the internet. As for the console's physical features, early prototypes show the console will look a lot like a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, but with a massive 8-inch LCD screen. So, Seth, we talked about this last week, and
We
I'm
did.
still I still thought about this. I've asked other people about this. Who is this for?
I have no clue. I really don't know. I'm like, if you're gonna play remote play, I've seen some people online say like, yeah, I like the form factor where it's gonna kind of be like a PS5 controller. I like that kind of like form factor of it. I like it. I
But you could do
prefer it
that
to a
with an iPad.
backbone.
You
Yeah,
could
that's what
play
I'm
with your
saying.
PS5 controller on your iPad, remote play, the
Right.
exact same thing as this thing that's probably what, $250?
If not more. I mean, that's probably on the low end. I mean, to me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who it's for. I don't see the use of it. I think it's going to be disappointing for people who want a new dedicated Sony handheld. They're like diehard Vita fans, PSP fans, like people who are like hungry for a new Sony handheld. And this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, like I have good internet at home. So when I play
Mhm.
remote play games, it's fine. But I remember last summer I was trying to play a game up at the cottage on Game Pass,
Mm,
and it was just nope. So for me, it's like, okay, this has to be remote play. So the only way to have a true experience for it is to be playing it pretty much in your house when someone else is using the TV. So then you're that person in your house, and like
right.
as a married person. So that means I'm sitting on my couch with my wife beside me with headphones on, acting like she's not like I don't know, man.
Nah.
I'm sure there is a lot of people out there that this is for. But for me, this is a no. I just it doesn't make sense for me in any way, shape, or form.
Same. I'm good. I would rather. I still have a Vita Court. I'd rather just play my Vita.
The
If I'm gonna
Vita
be
was
honest with you.
honestly, if there was no back buttons on that thing, the touch
Yeah.
buttons, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
thing would
yeah,
have been
yeah.
amazing. Those touch buttons on the back ruined that console.
It was weird. I really do love the Vita. I think it's a great, sleek little handheld.
Sorry, portable
And it really
handheld.
just, yeah, but it goes to show too that like Sony knows how to do this kind of stuff well, like that premium kind of like handheld experience. And I kind of miss it. Like I would kind of prefer to have like some kind of dedicated Sony handheld right now, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, and I would think with the PS5 games, why do you want to play them in 1080p? Isn't the whole experience of next gen to have these beautiful graphics, the
4K.
adapted trigger, like all that, the 4K with the 120s, like
Yeah. All the numbers. Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It almost seems like it's like that Skinner meme of like, no, it's the kids that are out of touch. It's like, all right. It's like we've heard everything about this Activision Blizzard thing, and you hear their arguments, and you're like, are you like in a mirror like Romperoo, and you're like, I see Sony, and then like saying what you do, and that's what you're complaining? Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a weird one. Sorry, I can't get behind it. Let us know in the comments. Like if you think this is amazing, give us a reason. But in another announcement last week that I don't think it kind of got like overshadowed was the God of War Ragnarok New Game Plus. And even myself, the blog post came out and it almost came out like a whimper, and more people wanted to talk about other things in the gaming sphere last week. But we also had Star Wars Celebration. It just ate up everything that anybody wanted to talk about. And Star Wars Celebration was awesome, by the way. But in a blog post, they announced God of War New Game Plus, like shadow dropped it and just said, hey, it's here. Update already. So it comes with new equipment, an increased level cap, new enhancements, all this and more to introduce the God of War Ragnarok New Game Plus mode. As soon as you've beaten the game, you'll be able to dive right into New Game Plus, save the experience, the same story again, and then more gameplay options. I'll go through the options, but you're also going to be able to skip cutscenes. Like, thank you. If you're playing through it again, you don't have to watch these cutscenes. Some games that do New Game Plus and make you go through those cutscenes again. So I'm like, that's a choice.
The worst.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So you get new equipment, weapons, including the Drapnir spear, and skills you carry over from your previous save, and you'll be able to use the entire arsenal from the beginning of your journey. Please note that you will not start the game with the access to the Sonic and Hex arrows. All areas requiring these arrows or the spear will access to unlock in the section. So as you progress through the story, I don't want to give away, there's things that happen. Some of these new items won't be there until you get to those parts of the story, which
that makes sense.
To be honest, I'm okay with. So
yeah,
the new equipment is the armor of Black Bear, Spartan armor, which is pretty much just like a naked, you're a naked character with a little skirt on. The Ares armor, the Zeus armor looks amazing, and a new shield called the Spartan. I'm going to be terrible in saying this, but it's going to be funny. So I'm going to say it, ass piss. Because that's,
I think, you know what, Court? I think that is what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think
so it's an ass piss. So
it's an ass
go out there and make sure you hold on to your ass piss and use your ass piss everywhere in the game.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's going to be a new level cap. Sorry?
Anything. It'll deflect anything.
The ass piss will deflect anything.
Streams of enemies. Streams of enemies.
Oh, I hope it's yellow. Like I saw a picture of it and it's just got like an A on it, but like, man, the things we can do with the ass piss in the game. In New Game Plus, both Kratos and your enemies will become more powerful with an increased level cap. You will be able to convert all your level 9 equipment above into the New Game Plus mode. It doesn't say what level, it just says in New Game Plus mode. I haven't been able to check. I haven't re-downloaded the game to check out. And then you have your enhancements. It's the gilded coins, engraving, and badge enhancements. If you ever agonized over an armor choice because you couldn't choose your favorite perk, the new enhancements available in the shop are for you. I am reading out of the blog post. These are not my words. I did not write such a corny
this copy
by whatever it's called. These take a selection of your powerful, versatile perks from armor, engravings, and shield runs badges, allowing you to equip them in your amulet as your enhancements. For example, you can purchase a dragon engraving, which has the dragon scale breastplate perk. Dragon's Fury blocks and parries grant strength/defense stacking buff. You can equip that in your amulet while wearing a different chest piece. Honestly, I'm reading all this and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, why do we make games so confusing and like, why
There's
can't we
so
just
much to
have,
this.
yeah, like there's a lot to this, and it's like, hey, do this and you can take this and you can move this over here and pretty much make your character extremely invincible and nothing can hurt you. Because I've even seen YouTube videos of people taking these builds and making it so Kratos is just like
min-maxing it.
yeah, he's just going through and one-shotting everybody throughout the thing. But hey, someone will figure out how to do that. And then you have the Berserker Souls drop. So defeating the Berserker Souls on New Game Plus will also reward you with new enhancements to equip. While not as flashy as some of the perks enhancements, they will give you big boosts to select stats so you can lean into whatever build you want. So yeah, again, and then the burdens are a new set of enhancements that allow you to equip negative perks. Yeah, I guess if people want to punish themselves, sure.
Okay. A challenge, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, sure. I have you played the game, Seth?
Not yet. No, I still haven't gotten around to it. I have it, but I haven't even started it. Yeah.
So the Berserkers, they're hard. Like very hard. Like hard enough that like I know Drellesh, he beat them. I couldn't. Like they whooped my butt and I'm like, no, but I will say this. They've added so you can go into the arena and you can play these Berserkers to pretty much get like practice on them because they do have sort of old school, like it's going to do the same move every single time thing. So you can learn how to beat them, I guess. And then they have new skill mod plus, upgrade your existing skill mods tokens using XP. Platinum tier labors, carry over any progress from your kill labors or your rata tasks and continue to unlock new platinum tier. And then they have additional stats gains. Nor chest will provide, yeah, I'm not going to say that. I can't say that word. To allow players to push stats far beyond their well, what do you think that says?
Yggdrasil, I guess. I don't know. I get sure.
Yeah,
why not?
And then the sparring arena, I said that on Nalfheim, available on all difficulty in New Game Plus. Like they've made it. Yes, you can make it harder. Okay, so you can make it like all you Souls and Bloodborne's fans. Yeah, go out there, turn it into super duper beat the living crap out of me mode, and see how this goes. Like that's what it sounds like. It's the hateful and the Armstag, 2 optional mini bosses, and then they have new tricks, and they're gonna beat the piss out of you. Is what my guess is.
The ass piss. Yeah.
And then available on Give Me No Mercy and Give Me the God of War in New Game Plus. Jesus. People are masochists playing video games. That's all I can think. If you choose to play on Give Me No Mercy or Give Me God of War difficulties, all bosses and mini bosses will have runic armors. Yeah. Yep. You can go out there and just play it harder. And then, like I said, you can skip cinematics. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like a lot of games have added New Game Plus, but this is a lot.
It's like that. There's a lot, like extensive New Game Plus, and like literally while we're going through all of this here, and you're reading all of that, I had the same thought. I was like, this is appealing to those people who have just like beaten the crap out of this game. They want more challenge. They want Elden Ring kind of experience out of this. You know, that's what this is for. And I'm over here like I want to just play it once.
Well, that's what it's like. I'm reading this and I'm like, so this isn't for me. Like I thought the Berserkers beat the living daylights out of me. I thought the story in this game was phenomenal. One of my favorite games. But I was, no, I don't need to go out there and like mash the buttons more and hurt my arm even more than it is. Like that's just, but I do remember when people were finishing this game, they didn't think it was that much of a challenge. So to you, now you have a new challenge. But I'm also a big fan of New Game Plus because there's always things that you miss along the way that you either watched in a guide or you're like, oh, I think I can do it a certain way. Or even if you try and go back to platinum a game sometimes. I know I find this with Horizon games, and I'm hoping I don't get this with Burning Shores, but the combat in Horizon is it's a parry combat. It's a lot of learning the combat as you go. So by the end of the game, when you're facing off against those hard enemies, it's not that big of a deal. And then I remember when Frozen Wilds came out and I tried to hop back in to finish the DLC. It was just painful to try and learn how to do all the combat again.
To go back. Yeah.
That's what I don't mind about a new game plus. I remember it was Spider-Man and such, that you get to learn the combat systems over again, because I'm old. I don't remember that stuff.
Oh yeah. I've slept since then, Court. I
So
go to bed and I wake up and I forget it.
my
You know?
question to you is, and it doesn't have to be PlayStation, what is your favorite new game plus of a game that you've ever played?
Oh man. I don't typically do it, to be
Okay.
honest. Like I've done it before, but I don't typically. I typically just kind of get my experience, especially now that I'm like older and time is more fleeting. But I've done it in when I went and played Jedi Fallen Order, I think that ended up getting a new game plus and I did
It did. It
that.
was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked that one. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind because I remember going back and getting the platinum for that when that came out.
Did we
So
get that game in like 2 weeks?
I know it's coming, dude.
Oh my
It's
goodness
soon.
gracious. I did not
Yeah.
watch the last trailer, so that's why we're not talking about it on here. I have
Yeah.
gone dark. I do not want to see any more of that game. I just want to play it. It's, you
You're
know what?
almost
It's
there.
going to be good. And regardless, I'm a Star Wars fanboy, so I'm just
Same.
going to say it's good before I've even played it. Like, it's just, it
There's
is
no
what it is.
chance it's not good.
I
There's no
know.
chance it's not good. The first one was so good. The first one is like one of the best, if not the best, honestly, Star Wars video games. And like, if it's just that but better, then
Yeah, it's
I'm
right up
like,
there with KOTOR. You're right.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
so good.
For sure it is.
And
Yeah.
it was so good that it took a new lore in a time
Hmm.
where single player games were dead.
Hmm.
And it made it canon. Like, Disney was like, you know what? This is so good. We're gonna like, in The Mandalorian, I love when you see the droid in there,
Yeah,
BB.
BB.
Like, it's
Hmm.
all in there. Like, they made it canon. I'm still waiting for Cal Kestis to just make an
Me
opinion,
too.
make an appearance.
The dude is a TV actor, Cameron
Yes.
Monaghan or whatever. I can't
Yeah.
believe he hasn't shown up yet. Where
Yeah.
is he at?
It's almost getting annoying at this point.
Yeah,
There's no way to segue after I say it's almost getting annoying at this point. But
that's okay.
we have new information about the Horizon Burning Shores DLC. Out here on the PlayStation blog, they gave us a whole more of a background on the Quen. I hope I'm saying that right as well. Now, the Quen were in Horizon Forbidden West, but we really didn't get
Mhm.
into them. So, like it says here in the post, Aloy first encountered them in the Horizon Forbidden West during the search for Gia's subordinate functions. The Quen are a seafaring tribe from across the Pacific Ocean. They use the focus,
Okay.
but they use the focus. All the history that is there, that's what they feel. They don't try and advance from it, and they try and interpret that history and live that life still, is what,
Okay.
from what I'm reading. But the thing
Interesting.
that yeah, like, they show it like this Horizons Burning Shores DLC. I love the set piece that they're taking out in California, and we get to be in Hollywood
Yep.
and such. And I'm really excited about this DLC. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was beautiful. It just came out at a time where, like every Horizon game, the first Horizon came out during Link's Awakening, not Link's Awakening, Jesus,
Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
last one came out during Elden Ring. It was just like, Jesus, they can't catch a break.
They can't. Yeah, they
But
really can't.
we find out about a new companion. So her name is Sakea.
So, yeah, Sakea or Seika or something like that. Yeah.
Seika, sure.
Yeah, sure.
So we have it in the thumbnail here, and it says the key art from Horizon Forbidden Shores shows Alo companion with a new companion recognized by her Quen attire. We're excited to introduce Seika. She's an ambitious Marine who has stepped up to help her people survive. As a new companion for the DLC, Ayla will spend a lot of time with her throughout the story and rely on her to help in many situations, a position she doesn't often find herself. Confident, compassion, and fierce, Sakea quite unlike anyone Aloy has ever encountered, and she plays an important role in the next chapter. And it's kind of interesting. This blog post goes into so much talking about the Quen, and then literally at the very end of it, it was like, oh, by the way, she's got a companion, and it's pretty much the whole time you're playing, you're with this person.
Yeah. It's weird too because I was looking at the key artwork for Horizon Forbidden West and or the Burning Shores DLC, and it looked like she was like they were fighting or something.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
thought, but then there's some of it that
yeah,
looks like they're side by side, so maybe they don't like each other at first, and then they become the best of
right.
friends? Like,
Uneasy alliances.
the Batman,
Yeah,
Superman type thing? Just
right.
not as bad as Justice League, you know? That movie
Yeah.
was terrible. But I am very interested in this because we do get a companion sort of in Forbidden West. But it seems like we're gonna have one the whole time. It doesn't say in the blog post, but could you imagine if we somehow got to multiplayer this game? Somehow?
Oh,
Doesn't
that
say.
would be
It doesn't
neat.
say.
Yeah, I would be
I
surprised
wouldn't
if
think
that
it
was,
does.
like,
Yeah,
buried in
same.
there, but wouldn't that be crazy? And that would also, I think that that might be actually the one way they could even halfway justify, like, the whole "it's only on PS5" thing. Like, that would actually make it a little bit more understandable. That would be really cool.
Well, maybe the companion itself is their justification because as we
Yeah.
know, that takes a lot of processing power to have the
Mhm.
two characters on it at the same time. And I'm hoping um, we get to find out that she has different abilities, and we get to how we're going to use them, and are we able to control? Like, I have a lot more questions than I did before. But like I said, they just pretty much like, here's a blog post. Oh, by the way, the biggest thing we're only going to tell you like in 4 sentences, and that's it. And we're going
Throw
to
it
walk away.
out there at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's left more, and it's made me want to play it more. I was going to play it regardless, but for me, I'm more excited. Now,
Yeah.
did you play the last one?
No. This is Court.
Seth,
Court, I know, I'm
we're
sorry. I
like,
know. Court, I
honestly, this
look.
is a PlayStation show. Like, I know you don't play any Nintendo games.
Yeah.
You only love your mobile games. It's your thing. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're a big mobile
I'm
player, I
only
heard.
I'm a big mobile player. I'm a big Fortnite guy.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah,
all I'm doing.
yeah,
That's all I'm
for
doing,
sure.
Court.
Yeah,
Playing
Fortnite for
Fortnite.
sure.
I own it. Like, I literally own it. It was actually given to me. Somebody had a copy that they got with like a
PS5.
PlayStation 5 bundle.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're like, here, you just have the code. And, like, I own it, and I platinumed the first one. I loved the first one. It's literally, I've got to make the time to fit in these like 50-hour games, like Horizon
Yeah,
and
this
God of
one is
War.
not small, but it's an easy plat.
Hmm.
I didn't platinum it because I am more of a, if you can platinum in the first run through, then I'll get it.
Right.
But when I have to go back, I have a hard time, especially in games that are long, to go back and get the plat. I know that's like faux pas and like in the PlayStation world of the trophy hunters, but I have a very hard time going back to games. But
Hmm.
I have my hopes up about this game. I really
It's
do.
like a week from now, right?
Yeah,
Like it comes out next week. Yeah.
I believe so. I'd have to
The
Google that, but
18th?
let us know in the
Yeah.
comments. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes out like not this week, but next week. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
almost positive. So I want to get to the questions of the show. So Summit Roy writes, excluding games based on sports, MLB, which games do you find yourself replaying? Wow, that's literally what we talked about before, but kind of in a different way. Like, Seth, what type of games? I'm going to go with genre. I'm going to like put the question on something different. What type of
Yeah.
genre do you find yourself replaying over and over again?
I definitely have a couple of those like kind of go-tos where, as like I was saying earlier, Diablo 2, like that kind of thing, that kind of like rogue like, maybe go in for a few minutes, get a dungeon in or something like that. So Diablo 2's been great for that because I can just pop in there and play it for like 30 minutes and pop out. It's all good. Um, but even like, yeah, stuff like Dead Cells or Spelunky are good for that. Those kind of just roguelikes. Those I can get in a quick run and then I can, pop out and be done, and that's my gaming for the day. There are times where that is, that's what I go to. Racing is another genre that's like that for me. Like I recently, like a couple of months ago, I just had the itch to re-download Burnout Paradise, and I was just like going in there and just racing around in Burnout Paradise, man. And like, I don't know, something comforting about it, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, for me, it's the Division 2. I don't know what it is about that game. I know it's
Mm.
not widely popular. I was able to figure out the systems and like the meta, I guess they call it, of the game.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get enough of it because once it was like, oh, here's the new, special weapon that you got to do this to get. And I'd be like, hey, and I would figure out special ways to grind it and get it quicker. And be like, all right, I got this, I got that. huge fan of the Division 2. And I even actually last time I played it with community member Robbie Bobby Miller, who has the next
Yeah.
question for me. Is what is your favorite pull so far in MLB The Show? Sorry. It was today, by the way, my favorite pull, which was Manny Machado. What is your favorite video game or movie themed food? So his example was the Ghostbuster
Oh,
Ecto Slime, the high C juice box. So I'm going to ask you first,
the
Seth.
ecto coolers.
Yes.
Yeah. The ecto coolers are a good call. Oh my gosh, there's so many that come flooding to my
See,
mind.
I not
They
much comes to my mind except what he put in the picture.
Oh yeah, they had the picture too. Yeah, see, Court, I have like as a child growing up in the 90s where you're just fed commercials all
Mhm.
day. I'm somebody who goes to sleep nearly every night to a very specific YouTube playlist of Chicagoland 1990s commercials because
Oh,
they're the
wow.
commercials that played on TV when I was a kid, and it's very comforting to me, Court, and it makes me fall asleep like a little baby.
Oh my goodness. I
So
just learned something awesome about
love
you.
it. I love it. So I would probably, they did a Transformers like Little Debbie cake promotion, I remember, and
Wow,
those are
okay.
pretty good because it had like you could get a
What's
snowball that had
what's a
like
little Debbie cake?
they don't have those in Canada.
I'm gonna
They're
go say no. I don't know what it is.
they are little like snack cakes that you get at like a gas station for a
Okay.
dollar. And you could get a snowball, which is this like kind of like chocolate cake with like coconut over the top of it, and on the inside it has like cream, and the Transformers one was like this like dark bluish purple, and it was supposed to look like, I don't know, machine guts or something, I don't know, but it was awesome. I loved it. Yeah, I could think of a million little things like that. There would always be the if there was anything, a video game, a movie, whatever, it would have some sort of themed macaroni and cheese every time.
Yeah,
Every
like
time it would have
Robbie
that.
Bobby Miller put in the tweet, he put the Mario one, which I remember fondly because it was like super
Yes.
duper cheese. But as someone was lactose intolerant, I think I remember it more for the pain it caused me. But for me, it's the movie time-ins because of McDonald's.
Mhm.
So growing up, McDonald's would have the best movie tie-ins for the Happy Meals and such, but it wasn't really just for the
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
Meals. Like I remember during Batman Returns, you would get the plastic mugs that you could
Yeah, the
get that had
cups.
like the Riddler on it, and then Jurassic Park, we were able to get the Jurassic size fries that were like, way too many fries to eat, and probably has a very good reason for a lot of the issues in my life for eating those all the time. But I remember McDonald's always having awesome tie-ins, and as a Batman fan, they had all the Batman toys at one point. Like everything about
Oh, yeah.
McDonald's was the movie tie-in place, but video game tie-in, I got nothing besides the Mario. Like I know there was Mario
Mario
cereal just
2.
recently, and I guess I missed the boat. I saw Pokemon
Yeah.
something, but I was like, goes right over my head.
Burger King had the Pokemon stuff when I was a kid. Burger King had the Pokemon license. McDonald's, I think, has had it recently now. But yeah, it was also, it's all that kind of stuff like you were talking about, that kind of like higher quality
Mhm.
thing where you could get like they used to have these Disney animated movie themed like glassware that you could get from McDonald's.
McDonald's originally, this is how old I am. Actually, I think it was Burger King. Burger King or McDonald's, can't remember what it was, during the 80s, during Return of the Jedi. You could get
Mhm.
these amazing glass cups. My brother still has
Yeah,
them. We had a bunch of them, and they had all the different Star Wars movies on them. They went above and beyond back in the day, and then all of a sudden
so cool.
they just got cheap, man. Just got
Yeah,
cheap.
cheaped out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
cheaped out.
Sorry, I missed one. Edward Varnell writes, "Do you think it was smart of Sony to allow Crash and Spyro to be sold to a third party? And how would those games look like if they had stayed first party titles?" It's a two-parter. What would be your personal first party trade to imagine what the other company could do with that IP? Like what part of first party IP would you want Sony to have that someone else already has? So for this question, I did a little research because I was like
Oh.
very confused by this because I was like, Crash and Spyro, they weren't owned by Sony. They were published
Mm.
by Sony for the first three. We all assumed they were Sony, but Sony just let it go. So when Activision Blizzard bought um, I guess, the rights, Sony did nothing really about it at the time. And then they kind of were like, oh, yeah, no, here's the nostalgia thing. But they kind of just let this go, but they were just publishing. Like, I had to look this up. They didn't really own the IP because they didn't own the studio that made it. They helped publish the games every single time. So I had to do a little research to figure out this one, because I was like, oh yeah, because I remember the commercial, with Adam Butler, and
outside
you
of
got Crash
Nintendo.
yelling outside of Nintendo, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then when I looked into it more, I was like, oh, so you even paid? That's weird. Even though Naughty Dog made the game, it was published. They weren't it's very gray area. If you read the whole Wikipedia about it, it's like, okay, it's like a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type thing.
Yeah, second party thing.
But Sony technically had the opportunity and just let this one go. Just was like, no big deal.
And to be completely honest, and I'm not trying to make any Crash Bandicoot or Spyro fans out there angry. I like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro as much as the next guy, but I can't really blame Sony for letting them go, because at that period of time, there wasn't really that much movement with those IP. Crash has kind of come back now, and we've gotten the new trilogy collections for both, and like those are great. But I mean, at that time, can you blame them?
No, honestly, you can't. They had Killzone. They had all these other bigger IPs that they were trying to get off the ground with the PlayStation 3. That it totally makes sense they just let this one go.
Yeah,
I get it. And then what would be your first party IP that you'd want Sony, I guess, to have or trade, like give away, and they can get an IP? Like, I look at it, I'm just like, I would love to see someone else do something with Halo, because I'm sorry, I did not like Halo Infinite. I did not like Halo before that. I've been so confused ever since 343 ever even took over them. Like, I even like the news that just happened, Jason leaving 343. I'm like, whatever. Like, the game wasn't that good. We're getting frustrated over a guy leaving something. That the game didn't look finished. It's like they had a franchise that was unbelievable, and I feel like they haven't done anything really with it. And it's
a good answer.
Just keep putting out the same thing over and over again, and they haven't innovated with Halo. They tried to, but I don't think they did a good enough job.
Man, there are some weird Nintendo IP, which is like my bread and butter. These kind of like underrated, weird Nintendo IP that I love, that Nintendo is doing nothing with. And like, I would love it if there are games, like mature rated games that Nintendo published back on the GameCube, like Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, like Geist, which is a first-person shooter where you play as a ghost and you can possess other people. And like, those games are great. Like, they're so cool. And I actually think that if Sony had the opportunity to work with those licenses, put that kind of like Sony polish and budget behind that, that would actually be really sick. And Nintendo is not doing anything with those. So
fair enough. Good answer. Good answer. I like that answer.
Take it.
So Savoy Prime asks, even with Spider-Man 2 and possibly Factions dropping this year, do you think it's still been a quiet year for Sony first party wise? Personally, I'm not counting Burning Shores. It's a DLC. Seth,
why not?
Do you think I even saw a meme today of somebody showing a guy in a shopping cart, an Xbox guy, and he's got this shopping cart full, and then there's this Sony guy with crying tears, and he's just holding Spider-Man 2, even though like the year before and the year before that and the year before that, like every year for the last like 8 years, it's just been Sony first party. Do you think it matters that much that they got pretty much the one as of right now if they don't drop Factions, or even the rumored Horizon multiplayer that could drop this year as well?
I don't think it's as big a deal as a lot of other people seem to. I think that, like, to your point, there were so many years where we were like starving in Xbox land or starving in Nintendo land or whatever. Everybody has like their kind of off year. And I don't even know that this is necessarily an off year. Like, for me, I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, cool, like we release even like these kind of smaller scale games, like we were talking about Season earlier.
Yeah, and Chia,
you know what I mean?
Not too long ago.
Yeah, Chia. Yeah, like we're looking at some of this stuff, and it really just depends on kind of how you're evaluating this. The kind of stuff that Sony is putting in their camp. If you're considering that to be something big or not, like saying that that you don't count Burning Shores because it's a DLC, okay, I could kind of understand that, but that is a major first party release,
Yeah,
and it comes out,
I count DLC
like
all day long.
me too.
I
Yeah, I
count it.
would too.
But I don't think it's that big
And
of a deal. I'm agreeing with you.
no, I don't either. And look, if even if Spider-Man 2 is the one thing that is the only thing that Sony has this year, like that's a game of the year contender.
It,
You know?
it's also I really look at you have Starfield, Spider-Man 2, and Starfield we're just putting in there because of the public, who makes the game and
Sure.
expectations. But Spider-Man 2 and Zelda are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two of the biggest games probably in the next 5 years, and they're coming out at the same time again. Like it's just like if you're a first party, what's the point? Like if
Yeah.
you're Xbox, like Xbox is putting out a lot of games now, but then they're gonna have Starfield at the end of the year. But like then you have Zelda and Spider-Man, and it's gonna eat up everything. Zelda's gonna be, I would assume, huge, and it's gonna take a lot of players away from it. And a lot of Sony players play on Switch, vice versa. A lot of Switch players play on Sony. So they're gonna have their two games that they're playing.
Yeah. You don't want to oversaturate. It's
Yeah.
never smart to just flood the market with games.
Yeah, that's
You
why I
know?
still think we're probably will see that multiplayer. Like Sony's been talking about how they're going to be working on all these multiplayers, and technically they put out Destiny, the adding to
Yeah,
Destiny
that's true
this
too.
year.
Yeah.
I just look at it; they probably will just have Spider-Man 2 and factions, and that's fine. Like we have all this third-party stuff too. Like I don't know.
I
It's
agree.
almost to the point of like there's a lot of games to play, like a lot
Too
of
many.
games, too many.
Drowning in games.
Like
Like
seriously, I even saw someone put up a tweet earlier today, like, "Oh, I don't know what to play right now," and I'm like, "Oh my god, my backlog is just like it's throwing up
it's
on it."
insane.
I haven't even finished Dead Space yet.
Yeah, I mean this stuff is insane. RE4 remake just came out, and like we're just talking about even like updates to old games, be it DLC, be it New Game Plus and God of War. Like they're updating the stuff that already came out.
Yeah, and God
You
of War
know?
New Game Plus makes it seem like it's a brand new game.
Yeah, it's huge, man. I don't know. I feel like I'm drowning in games, and I feel like I'm a-okay where we're at personally.
I'm agreeing with you. So Nagachaka asked a question that we kind of answered already, but there's more to it. Which PlayStation Drive host would win in a game of arcade Connect 4 basketball? Court or Matt? The answer is definitely Court. Matt did
Bat Matt
like
out.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When we were about to play pool, it was interesting because it was random how we put the teams together. I grew up playing pool, and so did Fulia, and we
Mm,
ended up being on the same team. So it wasn't fair to them there. But in this, in
dropped
the
him like a
basketball
bag of dirt.
that Nagachaka's alluding to, Matt kind of talked a little smack about it and then lost. So that was fun. But there's more to it. And would Seth just dominate in this arcade game?
Oh my
Ooh, so he's
gosh.
asking. So I'll give you more of an outline of what this game is. So it's
Okay.
literally, the shooter basketballs where you're usually just hitting the
Yep.
threes, right? Instead, you have a big board in front of you and you play Connect 4. So there's no nets, but it's just slots. Now, if you hit the top, like in the middle, it does just do a big bounce. But I learned quickly that if you're able to just shoot and hit the backboard, it's going in, like the board behind it, and it's going in and it's going to go straight down. So
Mm.
he's asking, because of your reach,
Yeah.
would you
I think I
just
could do
dominate at this?
okay. I think I would do okay. I don't know if I would dominate. I think I would do okay. There are some arcade games that I am dominant at.
What are they?
Pac-Man, nobody's beating me at Pac-Man. Air hockey, you're not beating me at air hockey.
Ooh,
Um,
I definitely
look,
wanted air hockey.
but look, we challenge accepted. We can, if we're ever together playing air hockey, we'll throw down. I
Wow,
am
we are
very good at
doing
air
that for
hockey.
sure.
Yeah, I'm very good at air hockey. But I've never played that. I've played plenty of those like basketball shooter games. Actually, Court, fun fact about me is, again, growing up in the 90s, Chicago Bulls era, my middle name's
Ooh.
Michael after Michael Jordan. Court, fun
Whoa,
fact
whoa,
about
whoa,
Seth.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
Serious?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god,
So
that's awesome.
if you if
What
you
time
grow
is
up
it?
in
Game time.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that was a whole thing. So I grew up playing basketball and hockey in Chicago, and I am better at basketball than people might think to look at me. So I can shoot okay, actually, but I don't know how well I would do. It's been a long time, and I've never played that game. But
I
I'm
knew
willing to
because
try.
of your Chicago roots. I
Yeah,
assumed football, basketball, and hockey
yeah,
because in Chicago, yes, they have the 2 baseball teams, but oddly enough, for that area in the United States, hockey is huge and
huge,
basketball is huge. So
huge.
I assumed those 2, especially in the 90s. You had the Blackhawks with Belfour and
Yeah,
Roenick, and then you had the Bulls. It was just like they ate up
legendary team.
everything. And then in
Yeah,
baseball, it was just like, your teams suck. It's just
yeah.
but it was okay to like them because they sucked, right? It was just it is what it is.
That's where we're at with Blackhawks today, Court. That's how
Ah,
we are.
man, they don't just suck as a team; they suck as an organization, right? So
It's
it's like,
rough. It's rough,
man,
bro.
they're just terrible people. And then
It's
they
rough,
stand up
bro.
for it's so bad. The arena is amazing, though. I will say this: one of
Oh
the
yeah,
most amazing arenas I've ever been in.
beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Now, I have a lot of love for Chicago sports. It's hard lately, but I do have a lot of love for Chicago
I've
sports.
been to the United Center, and I have been to Wrigley Field.
Yeah,
Wrigley Field is wow. It's
you
just
can't beat
wow.
it.
Even that
Yeah, you
patio at
can't.
the back where you can just have a couple drinks and it's so good with the bleacher stands. It's just
It's
so good.
classic. It's
I love it.
classic. Yeah,
I love it.
it's a pilgrimage. Everybody should do it.
So, and then Fulia asks, what PS games would be great for the arcade venue, and why is it Gran Turismo? Gotta have the Nagachaka has added this in here. I'm sorry, I'm reading stuff. And so, if
Mm.
you join our Discord, we'll have the links below. You can come in and even just chat with us there. Talk about your trophy scores, or even just make fun of us. But that's where some of these questions are coming for. So, Seth,
Totally.
what video game that we all play now would be great for the arcades? Because it used to be the
Oh
opposite, right?
man.
Growing up, game was made for the arcade, and we would
Right.
get its console.
And we would get it on console. Yeah. Oh man. I racing games are a good go-to. Gran Turismo is a good call for sure. Um Man, like I think of like my mind immediately went to old PlayStation games like Parappa the Rapper and like Patapon.
That
Like,
okay, the rhythm-based games are perfect, right? They
yeah,
really are.
they're great for the arcade, right? I thought about that immediately. Or even like there's a weird like PS2 game called Guitar Man that I really love, and that's another rhythm game. Yeah, I think about that kind of stuff immediately.
I couldn't think of
Hmm.
anything because I was just like all the games I like. I'm like, how is a first person like story-driven game, especially in the
Yeah,
arcade? Because it's like even when you like finish the first level, it's like, now give me more money. Because like it's
right.
terrible now. I know Nagachaka was playing this Transformers game and like he ran table in the first level, and then it was like, yep, now I want money. I'm like, the guy didn't
Give
die,
me
he didn't do
How
anything
about
wrong.
this? Give
Okay.
me a Horizon on rails, like House of the Dead style kind of shooter, like an on rail shooter, with instead of a gun, you have a bow and arrow. So you're aiming, bow and arrow, you're
Oh,
kind of like
almost like
shooting.
if you play the VR, that's literally what it is.
There you go. Do that. Do
Okay,
that as an arcade
that
game.
would
I think
work,
that'd be good.
or like Ghost of Tsushima VR.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just
Do
trying to
that.
will that into existence so we get it for PSVR 2, and Sony supports this very expensive peripheral that I bought. So
Yeah.
I would like that. But that's our show for today. But we wouldn't be able to close out the show without thanking the people that even make it possible. And I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about any of the hosts. I am talking about you Patreon supporters. So I first want to thank our ultimate producers, Robbie Bobby Miller, who I even saw in the chat. Go follow him on Twitch at /twitch.tv/Robbie Bobby Miller, Mr. Trucker Sloth, Tony Baker. You can go check him out on YouTube at youtube.com/quest4pixels. Mr. Jonathan Brown, who Seth and I have interviewed, and we got a great interview. You can go check it out on our YouTube, or you can go to his link tree, which is linktr.ee/pme.jib. And then Mr. Lee Navarro, the fierce leader of the Phoenix Overdrive, you can go check them out at www.phoenixoverdrive.com. And then I wouldn't be remiss by not including our platinum producers, Mr. Markus McCracken, who just joined myself and Matt for a review discussion about MLB The Show. You can go check that out on the channel. Mr. RJ Kern. And then we have our gold members. We have Anna, BobLoblaw, Bowsah, Cecily Carrozza, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Fulish Fuji, who I had the awesome pleasure of meeting last week, Hoppel,
Love it.
Jonas Young, Jose Jimenez, Marcus O'Neill, whose wife has made this little Bobby that you can see behind me, and Tim Paullin. Without all of you, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, and we wouldn't even have a show. Heck, today I was just in a mood, but because of you, I'm here, and I'm in a good mood now. So thank you. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.